Have you ever taken the time to analyze the role pride plays in your life or the life of others around you? Is pride a good thing? In this video, I will offer a perspective that challenges whether pride can benefit you at all. Let me take you back. Take pride in what you do. As a child, this message was imprinted on me. And I know, looking back, it did serve me as I navigated the world based on me. This is what I was taught. That's what school was all about. Get good grades, do your best. And it was all based on pride. Oh my gosh, look, I got good grades. Look, mom, look, dad, I did this in sports, whatever. And it's feeding my pride. And that, again, living in the world, that for me, it enabled me to progress, to graduate from high school, go to college, graduate from college, get a job, all those things. So in this case, yes, I think pride did serve me. And because it did allow me to get on that path of self-fulfillment and all the trappings of the world, which is what I knew, which is what I believed. I believed that was the way to happiness. That was the way to living life happily ever after, until I realized that it meant nothing. All the trappings of the world left me empty and hollow. So that's what pride got me. Sure, man, when I had everything that pride gave me, I realized it was so empty. This happened for me later in life. So my hope in sharing this video and sharing my life with people is that my awareness can spark a shift for you, no matter where you are, however old you are. If you're a teenager and you're watching this, holy cow, I wish I would have seen something like this when I was a teenager, and that it had enough of an impact on me that I took a look at pride in my life. And I'm going to give you some steps here in a second on how you can do that. So the first step really is to choose to take an honest look at where you are right now. In other words, take a step back, schedule some time. I recommend, at least an hour, quiet time where you're not interrupted, in your favorite spot, where you can really just sit back and say, okay. And then, I love brainstorming. So take out a sheet of paper. And at the top, you just put down, how is pride impacting my life? And just start writing. Here's how it's impacting my life. It determines how often I go to the gym and work out. It determines the supplements I take. Pride determines what kind of car I drive. Pride, whatever it is. Where is pride? What job that I have? How much money I'm looking to accumulate? What kind of spouse? What kind of family? Just look at the impact that pride has on that. Or not. Everybody's going to be different, but it's that brainstorm process. Is how is pride impacting my life? And then a vulnerable thing is to ask those close to you how they perceive or experience pride in your life. Ask those that spend the most time with you, hey, do you see any pride in me? Because oftentimes it's a blind spot. We're just so used to living this way that we won't see it ourselves. So if you ask those that are close to you, and hopefully you've developed that kind of relationship where they can be honest with you, and you're not going to get butthurt if they tell you something that you don't want to hear, which is in and of itself a source of pride too. So just be open to that, because man, there can be some great wisdom that can come out of that if you accept it and don't judge it and don't try to defend yourself, and just write those things down too. So those close to you, how they perceive or experience your pride. And now here's where the freedom starts to kick in. Imagine a life without pride. What does that look like? And again, do this in a brainstorming fashion in a quiet place. So if I didn't have pride, how would my life change? What would be different? And I think what you're going to find if you go through that process honestly, you're going to be like, wow, there's a peace associated with it. There's a comfort in knowing that, man, I don't have to perform. I don't have to look a certain way in front of the public or the world. My Instagram doesn't have to look perfect. Whatever it may be. And again, that's just a random example, but start thinking about life without pride. And who knows where that's going to go? I have no idea. But go down that journey. The good news is you can go down that journey and spend some time doing that. And if, you're not ready, you can just go back to where you're living now. It's okay, right? But again, my hope is that wherever you're at, you think about this before. Like me, it was 55 years before I stumbled upon something like this. So that's the next step. And then after you imagine life without pride, if it's compelling enough for you, then consider surrendering pride. Consider, okay, I think I want to get rid of this pride in my life. And again, it's going to look differently. It's going to look different for every person, how you surrender pride. Everybody's going to be different. So in this video, all I'm asking and all I'm suggesting is the next step would be take the first step towards that surrender, whatever it may be. It may be talking to people close to you again. Hey, how do I surrender pride? Have you surrendered your pride? Finding someone, going online and seeing if there are books or articles. I'm sure there are YouTube videos on people that have surrendered their pride and what that looks like. And that may be your first step, is to research what surrendering pride looks like, as an example. But take that first step, whatever it is, because that first step will get you into momentum. You've got a compelling case because you've looked at what it looks like. You've imagined in your mind what life would look like without pride, and there's something compelling for you. So take that first step, and then you're going to be on your way toward surrendering pride, and what I believe is a life that is going to be a lot more fulfilling, a lot more peaceful, a lot more inspiring, a lot more joyful, if you can just get rid of pride. All right, subscribe with the notification bell to receive regular updates. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button to see more like this. Comment down below. This can be with questions or answers to a question you ask. We'll see you next time on this amazing journey from isolation to community, where the next step beyond is freedom.